So welcome back to the Freemiles MC YouTube channel, and we are today in Hamburg, basically backed by popular demand. You guys really liked the video of me riding through Berlin and Hanover, and a lot of people asked in the emails that I should make more of these. So today we're in Hamburg, still a German city, maybe at some point a city outside of Germany, and we're today here with the Royal Enfield Continental GT, basically the cafe racer that Royal Enfield builds from factory. And we have it here in the Mr. Clean colorway, which is really nice with all the chrome, and it's a really fitting bike for this city, with Hamburg having all the red cobblestone walls and the harbor city that we're going to have a look at. And in general is a really beautiful city with a lot of nice roads, with a lot of trees on the side, and with a nice harbor and loads of nice things to see. And later in the evening we're going to visit the Moto Socials event and be there with this bike and see what other bikes are there. So let's get on the road. Continental GT being the cafe racer that you can get from factory, I have to say it feels more sporty than the Interceptor, however still pretty comfortable, which is quite a big compliment because usually comfortable is not something that is associated with cafe racers. And with the A2 compliant 650cc engine, definitely fun to hop around town on. So I now rode here to the Hamburg harbor and I'm currently enjoying a nice cold coffee with some honey and really fitting for riding a cafe racer. And we're not just in the Hamburg harbor, we're in a specific part of it, and that is the Speicherstadt. And the Speicherstadt is part of the UNESCO World Heritage, and it's in its construction a one time in the world kind of thing, the way it looks with its channels in the middle. Its history, it was built in the 19th century and it was basically for the German colonial effort, and it was to store caoutchouc, cacao beans and cocoa plants and other colonial goods from Latin America and parts of Africa. And then basically in the 20th century the usage of it ended, and now it's part of basically historic building protection here in Germany, and it's just so nice to look at, and it genuinely looks really beautiful. Even though the red buildings with the brakes and the nice bridges on the river look really beautiful, it's also a reminder that colonialism doesn't have to be occupational. Because this massive storage facility created the possibility to create scarcity or flood the market when the price was high. And with that, controlling the price of coffee in Europe and making Hamburg the coffee capital. Our next stop is the Reeperbahn, one of the most famous red light districts in the world. But it's more than that. Because the Reeperbahn also shaped and launched the band The Beatles, because they were playing here a lot before they were famous. Through the Reeperbahn being a red light district, it also led to one of the most infamous and most idealized periods of organized crime in Germany. From underworld bosses like Wilfried Schulz to the later referred to as Luden, which is North German slang for pimp, the organized crime was leeching onto the oldest profession and taking the lion's share, resulting in a la Miami Vice lifestyle that made them famous. So I'm now outside of the Reeperbahn neighborhood again, so that I can film without something being in the background that could get the video taken down, but you can still see some of the billboards. And the thing is, yes, it's a neighborhood with a lot of prostitution and so what. However, there's also a lot of nightclubs where people just go to party. And basically, this part of Hamburg is kind of where all the North German kids, when they're like 15, 16, take the train into Hamburg and then hide a bunch of so-called clubfers, which are a kind of schnapps in a bush, get hammered and go clubbing, basically. And maybe a bit weird to Americans watching this, that this is basically what Europeans do when they're 15, 16. But it is like that, and was a good time to some degree. So let's get back to the bike and continue our tour through Hamburg and also go to the Moto Social event. So we now arrived here at the Moto Socials already in the dim light, and it's a really great event. It's basically an event that's held around the world, always in different cities, so you can go to one close. It's completely free and you can have a look at really nice motorcycles. And it's not just motorcycles, but also a bunch of custom bikes that you see here. And everyone is invited and can come with a bike, no bike. It's really nice. Let's have a look, because I already saw some really gorgeous motorcycles and a few very nice cars. So let's look around. So I'm mainly here for the bikes, but it doesn't stop me from occasionally admiring the one or other car. And there's this really beautiful Dodge behind me. What a nice car. And right over here, nice Mustang. Also in a nice green tone, like reminding me of the Bullet movie. One motorcycle I was genuinely impressed by how it looks in person was the Verge electric motorbike with its very special engine design with the see-through wheel. So, as the sun is setting, the Moto Socials event is slowly coming to an end, and as we're in Hamburg, one more small detail of Hamburg. Hamburg is one of those places that has its own Coca-Cola. Similar to how La Bretagne has Braise Cola, Hamburg has Fritz Cola, which is pretty cool. Currently enjoying one of those because it's really hot. And I think it's time to call it a day and still maybe find a spot in Hamburg. So the Moto Social event is now over, and I can genuinely recommend it to anyone. It's free and you can just interact with other motorcycle riders. It's so nice and it's all around the world. That's really nice. And the sun is now gone and behind me is the Hamburg harbor. I still had some good light for filming this section, but a couple was arguing on this bridge way too loud to make a recording, and they were going back and forth, going away from each other and back to each other, and for fuck's sake, and then the sun was gone. However, we're here in the Hamburg harbor, and that's also a part of Hamburg and North Germany that basically there's so much contact to the rest of the world through the harbor, and also so much contact to the sea, even though Hamburg technically is not at the sea because the river is still affected by the tides. And also there's a lot of stuff going on with people fishing and so on. For example, one of my first jobs was actually working with fish and preparing fish in a freezing room at 4 in the morning, cutting it into little pieces and getting all the stuff out of it, to then sell it on the market, get into a truck and sell it in Hamburg, Wolfsburg, and all around the place in North Germany. I did that for multiple months, and yeah, so the Bismarck Brötchen and the Bismarck that I was preparing at that job as well is well known for Hamburg. However, I'm not going to show you one. I'm not going to eat one here in Hamburg because I'm through with this fish. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and enjoyed some views of the Continental GT 650 and also of Hamburg. And definitely like and subscribe and comment if you would like to see more of these city-focused videos. I would love to do some in Paris, actually. Once I actually tried that, it just never made the cut. And yeah, definitely. Also, try out the new hype function on YouTube, and see you guys in the next video.